You just don't realize how much clutter you have, or at least we had, like little things that we thought were accents that it's like, really, what is that purpose? Let's get it out of here. I want people to come in and look at the beautiful images on our walls.
Hey everyone, welcome to The Big Day, and I am here with our great friends Nate and Teresa Peterson, and we have been working on this awesome project for your studio, and we are extremely excited to get going on it. Your studio is like empty right now.
It's echoey, it's bare, it looks awful.
Yeah, and we have some cool stuff in the van that I would like to show you if you can take a few seconds here. All right, so this is
It's Christmas.
So this is the future redesign of NP Design and Photography. So let's get this stuff inside and get busy. Well, here we are, sitting in your awesome studio, and we are lovingly calling this the calm before the storm today. So Nate and Teresa Peterson, thank you for going on this journey with us. This has really been a lot of fun.
No, thank you. This is going to be incredible. We are so stoked.
Yeah, so around us right now is all the stuff that was in the van. You know, and we only made like about 175 trips in here with everything.
Yep, I counted.
Yeah, keeping track of those steps. So I wanted to do this before we really got into the unboxing, the placing, the hanging, all that type of stuff that we're going to be working on over the next couple of days, because I think that this is a really important piece of this puzzle. I think it's very easy when you're starting a studio, moving into a new space, you're excited. Like, it's brand new. I want to get display prints on the walls. I have stuff I want to do. It's new. It's exciting. You guys are still excited about your space, but you've been here for how many years now?
10 years.
Okay, so, and you both said, like, it was time. And this really pushed us to do something new. But I want to talk about the process, because I know that this was not a small feat for you guys. So just maybe, let's just talk about your space a little bit. Let's dip back a little bit. Give us like 1 minute of history on the building, and then let's move forward and what we did to prepare for this day.
Okay, yeah, we moved in about 2011-ish, and kind of the samples were, there was, when you're new, you go with as much as you can, so they were sparse, and then over time, maybe a mistake happens and you've got another sample, or you won a gift certificate at a trade show and you got another sample, or you had some profit that year, so you got some more. And we kind of built up, I want to say kind of haphazardly, by what was available and what opportunities presented themselves, and it kind of became a patchwork, which is kind of what the studio is, because it was redone in phases and stuff too, so it kind of went along with that. But
yeah, there was no plan, and I think ironically, that was the most stressful part about this, is actually taking a moment instead of just, let's plaster this on the walls and, oh, maybe this will be good, is sitting down and, first of all, going through all of our images for the past 4 or 5 years and kind of picking out what we think are our favorites or the best. And then actually coming up with a plan and like, oh my gosh, thank you for helping us figure out what could go on the walls, because we kind of got stuck in a box like, this is a square wall, this is a rectangular wall, this is a horizontal wall, instead of what if we did a cluster here, what if we did a different shape here? And that was the stress part, is actually coming up with the plan of attack of what we were going to do and what images.
it was also a shift in the mindset of, rather than you have a hole on the wall there, take that whole wall apart and put a product there. What can a client envision there that actually works, rather than a sample board of smaller pieces? It's like, give it purpose, and to be able to blank slate the entire place and start putting everything very intentional, that's what, was going to be a major difference, I think.
Definitely. You hit on a perfect point, with the patchwork. And if something new comes out, I'll add that. I'll add this. I'll add this. And you get to a place where there isn't a cohesion in style anymore. Walking through here this morning when we came back, compared to the last time that we were here, it feels 180 degrees different to me. Now, granted, it's very empty out there. We're going to take care of that, but it is going to go from having a lot of things on the wall, self-admittedly, to being a very clean gallery style space where a client can point at something and say, tell me about that one, tell me about that one, tell me about that one. And that's the point of this, to give people options. So tell us what you did to prepare for today. Like,
A lot of sleepless nights.
The second you showed up today, I kind of said, I really want to say thank you for this, but also, oh my God, like this has been. I'm glad it took as long as it did, because getting through, I think we were going to try and cram this before the holiday season, which would have been a nightmare on both our ends. But then it's also convention season, and so like Teresa mentioned, we went through a library of I haven't portfolioed for a while, gone through and picked out the favorites. So just
There's a
doing
great
that-
tip right there, is just make sure after every session you're looking through that body of work, and is there something there that you might want to put on your website or put on your wall? Let's create a folder for that so you don't have to do what we did and spend hours.
do that as the final step of each job,
Yeah.
rather than save it all up to spend 2 or 3 days going through and sorting options. But there was that, and then when you're gonna go to gallery style, so now we have this great library of things, we start picking out what's gonna fit there and which images, but then it's also polished. They're bigger. It's take it to another level of retouching. So there's quite a few pieces here, and so each one needed its own new polish. There's canvas edges, there's resizing. So there was a lot of production work that it's like, oh, cool, we're gonna get all new artwork, but each piece needs the work, and you're under deadline to try and not only get through your own schedule, but realize you can't be your procrastination self and throw this at the lab last minute. It has to be kind of timed out. So there was a lot of, it's good there was responsibility on everybody's level to not let each other down, and but it was a lot of work. So but we couldn't have done it without the design work and the encouragement and things like that. So
And then on my end, it was basically filling every nail hole, painting all the trim, painting all the walls, and then really looking at each of our spaces and being like, clutter. Like, you just don't realize how much clutter you have, or at least we had, like little things that we thought were accents that it's like, really, what is that purpose? Let's get it out of here. I want people to come in and look at the beautiful images on our walls, not all the little trinkets and stuff. So really, we spent a lot of time just I would literally clear out a room and then decide, okay, what's going back into this space? Is it really value added? And that was a huge thing. We got rid of a ton of stuff just because we wanted to prep for the images on the walls.
yeah, that's a great way to do that. Just empty it out and what really matters, when it goes back. And I can see Nate just shuddering right now.
Yeah, it's great when one would have like the clean modern nothing, and the other is comfortable in the clutter. So there were some good discussions over whether something would stay.
Yeah.
But
very
with
correctly
love,
stated.
with love. But yeah,
But
I think
you do have to take it all out and then decide, like, what is this going to help my client? Like in our dressing room, is this going to add to their experience? Do they need to have this in there for when they're getting ready? If it's just a trinket or something, then it doesn't need to be there. I want them to focus on the walls.
Yep, absolutely. And you guys really took it to another level too, where you took a look at your furnishings. You repainted every surface in here. You filled up all your nail holes. You've really gone through a complete HGTV changeover. Countertops, like you took advantage of this as a catalyst of, we're gonna do this, so we're gonna do it, and spend the time. So Nate, I want you to talk a little bit about how the process of design and the things that I sent back to you for space-wise, recommendations for different size prints, something that's non-standard, how that kind of challenged you the way you photograph.
Yeah, 100%. So a lot of the spaces on the wall, spaces we gave you, lent themselves to having tall panoramic shaped images. And I'm going to guess that through my eye, I see a lot of horizontal panoramics and then more tall standard aspect ratio things. So it was interesting to have to basically be forced to think, how am I going to fill all these tall panoramic shapes? A few of them we cut into parts, but there were a few that, it's kind of like the clutter thing. Why do you need the sides on that? Like, let's bring you right into the subject and the expression and things like that, and just kind of it's nice to break the shell of what you see through the lens and say, how does it become a better art piece by focusing in on it? So it's actually, I've had my first senior session for the year and been seeing differently already. So that's kudos. It's kind of to me, it becomes more artistic because it's not what you're seeing through the lens, you're bringing it into where the art actually is. So.
And from a business standpoint, Nate used to shoot a lot of horizontal images. That was kind of his comfort level. And not every home lends itself to a horizontal image. So we were probably leaving some money on the table by not focusing on vertical and just different kinds of
More
groupings
squares,
and that.
like
Yeah,
there's-
squares are
there's
popular. So
6 or 7 square
I think
pieces
I think by showing those pieces and by him learning to shoot a little bit differently, that could be huge in our business and much better at serving our clients' needs too.
Yeah, absolutely. And it'll be interesting to look back mid-year, end of year, and see how changing up the style of the studio really has impacted what's really worked, what potentially hasn't, what sizes have been popular. I'm sure you've heard more than one time, oh, I don't have any wall space. My house is all windows. Oh, perfect. I'm guessing you have something this wide, by this tall. That's a perfect opportunity for some of those odd shaped pieces. And as the images were coming through, I'm like, ooh, I love that, because I think that was a challenge, to begin with.
Yeah, well, and when I think tall panoramic, we typically have a subject on half of it and then some boxes. A lot of people do something like that. Well, that you can only go so big with 15 by 30 or so. When you're starting to talk 30 by 60, a blown up collage is just a blown up collage. But when you can find an actual image that satisfies that size, I can fill the spot between the windows, but generally it's a collage. And not everybody is into that. That's a little cluttery as well. And kind of in that luxury market, you don't want all of that going on. It's a little too busy. So to start showing that option. The other thing that I think is the series. We've done groupings where it's 5 different outfits in a group, and now it's a lot more focused on 3 poses from the same thing that look, and we shoot like that for the album all the time. We're always telling stories and different personality shots per outfit, but we've never really just taken an album spread and made 3 images as large canvases. So I think that's going to be a marked difference on, and believe me, I am so, when we get to November of this year, we're going to look back on this and go, was it a good move? Was it not a good move? I anticipate just alone the float frame with the canvases. We had not displayed one of those. We're a little behind the ball on that, and I think that's going to be the biggest, anything I could possibly dream of not working out, as far as maybe people aren't into the giant art, but just everything they do buy has that float frame on it. That's going to make up for it. So,
And now that you've kicked that door open, I had this in my head. So this morning, Teresa, you and I were talking, and you were like, yeah, we put up 20 by 30 here, 20 by 30 here, 24 by 30 here. Everything was around that range. And what did you sell?
That's what we sold. So yeah, now it's so funny. Now I look at canvases and I'm like, they look naked. They need an edge. And I'm hoping we will still have some of those showing, but we've also got the frame ones. So I'm kind of hoping my client is going to be thinking the same way, that doesn't look finished. It needs to have a frame on it. So
and there's no sole 20 by 30s. If there's a 20 by 30 or smaller on the wall, it's part of a grouping. So I think just your mind will say, oh, well, I don't want that small by itself. I need to get multiple pieces. So
yeah, because I'm guessing just the average, what we're looking at here, the average size has got to be, what, 30, 40?
30, 40
Yeah.
at least, yeah.
And if the rule of thumb is that people may not buy what they're seeing, but they might back down one, you have a lot of 60-inch prints that we're going to be hanging up in here. So if that works, and it's 30, 60s, 40, 60s, and they're going to back down from where 30, 40s, 30, 45s, that's a
fine
good
with me.
deal.
Funny going through the studio software on the walls we all had, and I was kind of tweaking some of the designs, and anytime I got down to 24 by 36 or smaller, it's just like, well, really? It shifted my mind to everything's bigger is cool. And I think we saw that years ago when, most clients new to this would be like, oh, the big 8 by 10, the big 11 by 14. And you start showing 20 by 30s, everybody's buying a 16 by 24 at least. You would never dream. I think my shift has already been 30-40 that's the place.
And that's huge because Nate does the sales. So if it's already in his mind and he's feeling comfortable with that, he'll be better to like explain that to the client about filling that space on the wall to make it the best that it can be.
Yep, absolutely. So we're going to tear everything open. We're going to start getting it placed into the rooms. We're going to start installing, and then it's going to be like the magic of HGTV that 4 minutes later, your studio is going to be
I think
all
like
set to go.
HGTV, I think what happens is there's a few clips of us like putting some nails in, but then the real pro contractors come in. I don't sense that's going to happen, but
Yeah, it's all us.
it's t-shirts time.
We're ready to work.
Absolutely, we're ready to go.
sweat.
So thank you again. This has been so fun, and we haven't even seen the finished product yet. So we will definitely be back, and we'll be showing some befores and afters and doing some interviews with you guys and walk around. So let's get to work. It is time to put the first nail into the wall, and I'm going to hand it to my friend Nate Peterson, and let's just hope that he doesn't hit his thumb with the hammer. So let's get this party started.
Nate.
Hey, thanks a lot for watching episode 5 of NP Design and Photography's Studio Makeover. We hope these sessions inspire you to elevate your own game. For more information or to set up a studio makeover, feel free to get in touch with us and set up a one-on-one consultation. In the meantime, you know the drill. Check out the description below. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button.